You've just come out of a breakup, you're tired, and you've completely given up on love. We always want to blame other people for our problems. You never think about your mindset or how you viewed men. You just blame it on them. It's time that we stop doing that. It's time that we stop hating men. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't watched my videos before, then hi, my name is Fleur. This is your space for all things self-development where we talk about growth, mindset and becoming the best version of yourself. So thank you for clicking on today's video. Now, this is actually a two-part video to a video I did a few weeks or months ago all about the psychology of the bad guy and why we fall for the bad guy. It got me thinking that although it was a great video, I didn't really fluff out the section where I was talking about how you can move forward and have a positive mindset instead of a negative mindset. So I thought I would do a whole video dedicated on how you can shift this I hate men and it's all men and I'm never gonna find love again into I will find the right person for me one day and love will find me when the time is right and I am worthy and deserving of love, because that is possible. So we are going to be breaking down that negative mindset that we don't want anymore into three parts, where we're going to be debunking the I hate men mindset and why that is extremely unhealthy to have, shift out of this mindset, and lastly, how you can then date with an open heart. Now, I am prefacing that this video is mainly for women looking to get out of their I hate men mindset, just because that is something that has been going on the internet. But if you are a man and you're watching this, then that's completely fine. You can just shift everything to your own perspective. It doesn't have to be a video just for women. So let's get straight into the video. Section number 1, the hating men mindset. Now, I want you to understand that past experiences are partly why our present narratives are made. And so the way that we think about love and men and just women, whatever it may be, is always based on how we were brought up and also our past experiences. So let's say that you've gone through a breakup with someone, or for example with me, I was in a very toxic relationship with 3 years, and so when I came out of that relationship, for a good 6 months I had that I hate men mindset and that all men are the same and that I'm never going to find one that doesn't cheat on me. It just put me in such a negative point in my life. I truly believed that healthy love couldn't be possible for me. And I was so convinced that there wasn't a single man out there who wasn't like my ex, but I couldn't be further from the truth. And it's very easy to believe that when it's all that you've seen and when that breakup becomes your life. As well as this, I think that the relationships that we witness growing up are a big part of why we think about love the way that we think about love. So let's say that you've had a parent who has had a very limiting belief about love, or they've thought about love in such a negative way, and they've always said like, you can't trust men, or you can't trust women, or your heart's always going to be broken, or you're always going to be cheated on. You're going to grow up having that mindset. And so if you have a parent that has that I hate men mindset, or even a I hate women mindset, of course you're going to grow up having that same mindset, or at least having that voice come in every now and then, because it's what you're used to. And so you can't put all the blame on yourself, and understand that a lot of why we think about the way that we think about things in life is because we've been taught to think about it in that way from our parents and from our childhood, and not even just from our parents, but also from the things that we watched as well, and the people that we were surrounded by. And it didn't necessarily have to be your parents. They could have had a healthy relationship, but maybe the friends that you had, they had divorced parents, or everyone you were around, the relationships that they had in their life were crumbling as well. And I was definitely one of these kids. I am a child of divorce, and not only that, most of my friends were children of divorce as well. And so growing up, I had found it so difficult to believe in love. And I am a romantic, I am a lover girl. I would always read the books and watch the rom-coms, and in my heart I truly didn't believe it was real. And I defined that love couldn't be this perfect. And of course it's not perfect, but I would read these books and I would think, no, men like that don't exist. And I would completely destroy that ever being a chance for me, even if men like that do exist. And lastly, I definitely think that the media loves to romanticize pain and toxicity, which is what the whole previous video I made is all about, on why the media is a big part of why we think about this way when it comes to men, or why we let them treat us the way that we let them treat us. But that doesn't mean that we have to believe that all men are the same, because it's just not true. Although it might be controversial for me to say this, most times we are our own problem. Because the way that we go into love or into a relationship thinking about it creates it. You will never really be able to see the good in life or in love if you don't have that built in, or if you don't have the glasses on to be able to see them. So it's very important that you understand that. A big part of why we have that way of thinking is because when we are surrounded by people that have had bad experiences with men or women, we almost have this like warning system that goes off, where whenever we are around the opposite sex, that alarm will go off and we'll think, oh God, they're bad, or they're going to do this or going to do that, or they're all the same, because again, that's what you've grown up believing. But that alarm system is only there because of your childhood. It's not there because it needs to be there. All men and all women are not the same. It's impossible. It's impossible, okay? Otherwise, when you look on social media and you see that healthy couple together, why is it that you think that, oh, she's deserving of that love and he must be such a good boyfriend, but then you don't think you're deserving of love, and then when it comes to you, all men are the same and all men are trash? It doesn't make sense, does it? Why are you the exception? Why is everyone else able to be loved, but you aren't? Why do you take that away from yourself? Because you were taught to. That's the only way you knew how to give love to yourself, by taking it away. Now that we've clarified that really negative mindset that I don't want any of you watching to have anymore, now that we are aware of that, now that we've highlighted that, let's now talk about how you can shift out of this mindset into a more positive one. The first step is always awareness in anything. And I feel like now you and me, we are aware. We're aware that this mindset is not healthy and that it's not doing any good for us. So the fact that you are aware of this, the fact that you even clicked on this video today, I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself as well, because awareness is not an easy thing, and it seems to be that this generation really doesn't like being aware. So the fact that you can be aware and that you're working on yourself is something that you should be proud of yourself for. Now that we know that this mindset that you have has been built from your childhood, I want you to know that that is a good thing, because that means it can be unbuilt. We can take it down and we can build a new mindset. Just because this is how you were grown up to think, it doesn't mean that you now have to go the rest of your life thinking that way. That is a massive misconception. We seem to think that we are broken humans, that we can't fix ourselves. But if you don't put the work in, of course you're not going to be able to fix yourself. You know, it doesn't just magically happen. You don't think, okay, fairy godmother, I'm going to go to bed tonight, and when I wake up, please just take away all of my trauma. No. It doesn't work like that. It takes weeks to months to years of working on yourself for you to see that change. And it is not easy. If it was easy, everybody in the world would be a self-development guru. But we aren't. And we are human beings. We make the mistakes. We fall back. We fall down. We find it hard to pick ourselves up again. And that is the beauty of the world. But when you have that passion and that motivation to change, it will happen. You just have to believe it will come. So I feel that if you want to work on yourself, one of the best ways to do this is to go back to your childhood and to ask yourselves, where did your beliefs about men or women or love come from? And this is going to be very difficult, because if you don't even know this yet, going back to that time of your life to figure out why you are thinking the way that you are thinking can be quite triggering. So I want you to sit down and allow your mind to be clear. And even if you can't think of something, just start writing. And I promise you, your subconscious mind will wake up and you'll start writing things that you didn't even know you were aware of feeling or thinking. And that is the magic of journaling and shadow work. That's why I always preach about it, because you will never notice or realize how much of a difference it can make until you start doing it. So really try and get back to the roots and understand why you are thinking the way that you are thinking, because you can't create a new mindset if you don't know what your current one is. And then when you have done that, I want you to practice curiosity over judgment. When you think about your ex, when you think about these negative things that have happened in your life, or when you think about the negative things that other people have had to go through, and instead of always judging the situation, be curious about it. So when you're thinking about your ex, maybe instead of saying that you are the reason why it went downhill, or this or that or that, maybe you can say, was he emotionally unavailable? Was he not ready for a relationship? And maybe I was. Was he treated badly as a child? Did he himself have poor definitions of love? Or even her, like whoever it is, you have to try and put yourself into the shoes of somebody else instead of just always judging the situation. Be curious about it instead, that maybe you weren't the only one that had trauma when it came to love, and that's why the relationship went so badly, or that's why the both of you had such negative thoughts about love. Then lastly, when you have understood that and you've highlighted that, I want you to ask yourself why you were drawn to that. It's a bit like that video, like I said, I did about the psychology of bad men and why we are quite literally glamorizing them. There's a reason why we are drawn to that. We're drawn to it because we can see it in ourselves, because we like the idea of being able to be that person that can change someone else's perception of love, because we can't do it for ourselves, because we can't change our own perception of love. So if we can't do it for ourselves, let's do it for someone else. Let's make someone else believe that there is so much beauty to this world because they don't think that, or that they're worthy and deserving of all the love in the world, but you aren't. So you need to be able to understand that. Understand why you were attracted to that, because otherwise, if you don't, then you will keep being attracted to the same people and you'll stay in that same cycle and in that same loop. The next thing and very important step is to choose to believe in something new and to choose in having a better mindset. You need to start saying, it's not all men or it's not all women, it's just the men or women I've chosen so far. I remember, I don't know where it is right now, but I talked about it in the relationship lessons video that I did, where I basically journaled for weeks after my breakup. And one of the things I wrote is, it's not all men, it's just some. And if you are with that some, then leave. And I love that so much because it's so true. And when I had that realization, it really changed so much for me. It is not all men, it is not all women, but that doesn't mean that that some doesn't exist, because it does. But you have to be aware of that. And if you know you are with that some, then leave. You have that chance. You have that choice. You can have better. You are deserving of better. But no one can make you realize that but yourself. And you will forever stay in that negative loop and with those negative people until you realize that you are worthy of more than that. So it's very, very important, because also with the whole law of assumption, if you believe that all men or all women are bad, you are going to subconsciously attract those kind of people and find evidence that supports that belief. It's like my mum always used to tell me that if you look for bad, you will find bad, but if you look for good, you will find good. And the way that you think about life is all defined on your own perception of it, on your mind. And so if you are always saying that you are going to be cheated on or you're going to be treated poorly, you are only ever going to see evidence of it. You're only going to ever have that in your life. So it's quite sad that we don't realize that the person that's taking away that experience that we want of pure love is ourselves. If you want to be treated like a princess or like a king, or have that beautiful love that you've always wanted, you have to wake up, okay? You have to wake up and give it to yourself first, but then also believe that someone else can give it to you, and stop thinking that you aren't deserving of it, because you are. And I'll keep saying that throughout this video because I really want you to leave knowing that. And then the last thing before we go on to the next section is that I want you to detach your identity from your pain and know that just because you were hurt, it doesn't mean that you were doomed. I remember when I came out of my relationship, I thought that I was doomed for the rest of my life and that I was never going to fall in love again and that no one was ever going to love me again. And I was convinced of that. And so I just ripped myself off basically. But that's not how it works, you know? Just because you tripped on stage once doesn't mean that every other time you go on stage you're going to trip. But yet we still get stage fright because we're worried about tripping. Or just because you stumble your words in a presentation once doesn't mean that every other time you do that presentation afterwards you're going to stumble it up. But yet we get anxious before a presentation because we're worried about stumbling. Just because your heart was broken doesn't mean that now every relationship you are going to go into in the future, your heart will be broken. You will find the one. The one is out there for you. And maybe that does mean your heart is going to be broken a few more times, or that you're going to have to break someone else's heart. But that is part of life, and that is part of love. And don't you want to be a part of that? Because I certainly do. So you need to understand that your victimhood can't become a comfort zone. It is a cage. And although you feel comfortable, although you feel safe, it's an illusion. It's something that you're used to. And when you're familiar with something, even if it's not good for you, you feel safe. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning because it's really warm and it's cold outside. It's the same thing. You feel warm in your comfort zone. You don't want to step outside of it because it's cold. But sometimes that cold can do more good for you than that warm can. You just don't know that yet because you haven't tried. So you need to try and step out of that and don't make that pain your identity. For the last section, we're going to be talking about moving forward and how you can date with an open heart. So we're going to start off with redefining what you deserve, because this is very important. Now that we've gone through everything else, you have to now define what you deserve in a relationship. And I started off by basically writing down the kind of partner I wanted. And I wrote a list of all, like, not even just a list, I mean it is a full document of my dream partner, of the way that I would treat them, of the way that they would treat me, of the kind of person that they are, what morals do they have, what kind of life do they live, how do they love me, how do I love them, what kind of things do we do together, what kind of love language do we have or give to each other. Really detail your dream relationship and create it so that it feels like it's real, even if it isn't just yet. It's the same thing with anything else in life. You know, we make this mood board for the kind of life that we want to live. Make a relationship mood board and start romanticizing life and love again, because you can do that. The next thing is to practice discernment, not distrust. So you need to understand that not every man or woman deserves access to you. And that's why whenever someone does try to get access to you, you need to basically vet them and try and understand, like, what's actually going on there, like what's going on between the two of you, and see whether they are worthy of you, because maybe you didn't do that for the previous person and that's why everything that happened in that relationship happened. You were easy on them. You can't be easy anymore. Let me tell you now, the reason why I've been single for the past 2 years is because my standards are through the roof. They are through the roof. I am not easily pleased and I am not easily accessible. It is important to have those boundaries there and to be able to know that you are so special and that not everyone deserves your energy and not everybody deserves to come into your bubble. And if you allow everybody in, then of course you're going to be letting in the same kind of people. So if you don't want to be letting in the same kind of people, you have to put up that barrier and sort of say, no, you can stay out there, and then you'll let the right people in. And when the right people come in, you will eventually find one of those people that will be right for you. You really need to pay attention to the way that people make you feel, because I feel like we always pay attention to how that person makes us feel about them, but we never pay attention to how that person makes us feel about ourselves. Do they make you feel seen and safe and valued, or do they make you feel the opposite of that? And once you know that, you'll know whether they're the right person for you or not. And then lastly, like I also said in the previous video, it's very important that you create a vision of healthy love in your mind that you can always go back to. So you need to be able to see good examples of love. And I think I mentioned how I follow a lot of couples on social media that I would say have like a healthy relationship. I mean, you can never know because it is social media, but just making sure that I am surrounding myself by positive relationships, but also people that have a positive mindset about love. And I think coming away from the I hate men and I hate this and I hate that mindset on TikTok or just social media in general is so important, and going and finding the videos that you know will be right for you when you want to create this new mindset is going to help you to be able to heal it and have that perception of love that you want. It's also important to have affirmations or just visualizations, and just when you're doing a meditation, and maybe even doing a meditation for love, trying to like close your eyes and just think about what kind of relationship you want, what kind of person do you want. Even if you so badly want to be with someone, sometimes the reason why you haven't found that person yet is because you need that time alone. And I can't wait for when I'm in a relationship again one day. And I love love so much, and I can't wait until I meet my person, but I'm so fine with being single, and I'm so fine with having this time to just focus on myself, because it's giving me the chance to come home to myself. And you need to come home to yourself before you build a home with someone else. You don't need to rush to fall in love again, that it's okay for you to take time, that it's okay for you to fall in love slowly, to gain back that romanticism about love and life that you once had before you, and to put all of that pain behind you. Don't let it blind you anymore. I hope that this video helped, and if it did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below one thing that you learned today that has helped you change your perception about love. I post videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. and I will see you next Sunday. Bye bye, my lovelies.